Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tearing into the anatomy of a finale, the absolutely massive final season of Stranger Things. After nearly a decade, the story of Hawkins is finally wrapping up, and we're here to break down how they pulled it all off.
You know, this quote from the show's costume designer, Amy Paris, really just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the incredible pressure and the sheer scale of what this final season had to deliver. It's a promise of something huge, and boy, does it set the stage. And let's be real, it has been a long, long road. We've been waiting for years, through a global pandemic, through major Hollywood strikes, and all those delays just cranked the anticipation up to a fever pitch. Fans were more than ready to get back to Hawkins one last time. So how exactly did the Duffer Brothers put together this final chapter? We're going to look at the plot, the production, and of course, the incredibly passionate and often really divided fan reaction. So let's kick things off with a final countdown.
Okay, first things first, let's set the stage for how this all begins. The show doesn't ease you in, it just throws you right back into the fire. The premiere is called The Crawl, and it drops us right into the chaos after season 4. We jump forward 19 months, and Hawkins is completely locked down. It's under military control. The town we know and love, it's basically a grim, occupied territory now. So yeah, this season doesn't start with a slow burn at all. It immediately shoves us into the new, pretty bleak reality for the town and for our heroes, who are all scattered. Right away, the premiere sets up the main mission. They're running these covert operations into the Upside Down to find Vecna. And they're doing all of this while hiding from the military, which is hunting 11. But then, get this, a huge flashback totally reframes the entire series, revealing that Vecna's connection to Will started way, way back in season 1. And the season also brings in this really surprising, kind of creepy new threat through the youngest Wheeler, Holly. She has this seemingly innocent imaginary friend, Mr. Wassett, who, of course, turns out to be something way more sinister. It puts her right at the heart of the mystery in the first episode. Okay, so beyond just the plot, this season tells its story in some really subtle ways. And one of the most powerful tools they use, the costume design. Seriously, the characters' clothes aren't just clothes. They're like entire stories woven into fabric. The costume designer, Amy Paris, said that every single outfit tells you where these characters are at emotionally. And there's no better example of this than Dustin. He is still completely reeling from losing Eddie Munson, and his whole look is basically a tribute to that grief. This quote right here really drives it home. His look is darker, it's more muted. The bright, bubbly, nerdy Dustin that we've known for years, visually, he's gone. He's been replaced by someone who is carrying a really, really heavy weight. I mean, his whole vibe is a tribute to Eddie. You've got the mullet, the ever-present Hellfire Club shirt, but that loyalty also makes him a target for bullies at school. It's this constant visual reminder that he has refused to move on from the trauma of what happened in season 4. And this incredible visual storytelling, it extends to the whole cast. You see it everywhere. Mike's wardrobe gets way more serious, more adult, reflecting his new role as a protector. Will's outfits are designed to show this constant battle between his vulnerability and his power. In 11, her look is just pure training mode, telling us she is ready for that final fight. But while the creative team had all these clear intentions with their storytelling, the audience reaction to the season was, well, it was deeply and very loudly divided. Online forums and social media just absolutely lit up with debate. On one hand, you had fans praising these really powerful emotional moments, like the reunion between Lucas and Max, or that heart-wrenching breakup scene for Nancy and Jonathan. But on the other hand, a lot of people were fiercely criticizing the season's writing and its pacing. For a lot of viewers, it felt like this season had maybe lost some of that early season charm. The most common complaints were about a sense of low stakes, like the main characters were protected by plot armor, and a lore that had just gotten way too complicated. This comment from a fan on Reddit, I think it really captures that common feeling of frustration. The idea that because the plot was so sprawling, with so many different character groups, it just diluted the emotional impact of everything. But here's the one thing that I think everyone could agree on, the sheer scale of this final season. It wasn't just big, it was a genuine television marathon. Now, season 5 didn't quite hit the insane runtime of season 4, which was a monster, but it was still way longer than the earlier seasons, clocking in at over 10 hours. And this number right here, that's the total runtime for all 5 seasons of the show, over 45 hours of television. That is a truly epic event and a huge commitment for any fan. And that massive length, especially for the finale, was a very deliberate choice. The Duffer Brothers wanted to give this story a grand cinematic ending. They weren't just making a final episode, they were making a summer blockbuster. So after this gigantic, emotional, and, let's face it, pretty divisive season, what's the show's final legacy? What are we actually left with here? This fan reaction brings up a really key question. All of this complex new lore, was it really necessary to finish this story? Or was it about setting the table for the next chapter of the Stranger Things franchise? So what's the final verdict? Was this a satisfying ending that honored the show's small-town roots? Or was it a blockbuster that kind of lost touch with what made it special in the first place? That's really the ultimate question left for all of us, and it's a debate that is definitely going to continue long after the credits roll on Hawkins for the very last time.